Alrighty guys, so that's the end of turn 2. I hope you've actually watched the battle report already, otherwise quickly go and check it out so you don't have any spoilers. So here we've got the original lay of the land with the two capitals, London and Oxford. Then we've got the actions taken this turn based on the orders, and that was for the Royalists to attack down in the east, and the Parliamentarians were ordered to attack north in the east. In the west, the Parliamentarian force was ordered to withdraw to Gloucester, and the Royalists were ordered to attack and try and destroy them. That didn't work out too well for the Royalists. They had initiative, so they were able to go, but the smaller force under Waller was able to avoid the battle without suffering any casualties, so good for the Parliamentarians there. So the Royalist army under Charles ended up pursuing them to Gloucester and has besieged Gloucester, so that's the first siege of the game. They have rolled on the siege table, and it will surrender after 6 turns if there is not a sally forth or an assault in the meantime. However, in the east, the combined Royalist forces were able to defeat Essex and Cromwell. Unfortunately for the Parliamentarians, Lord Fairfax with his force down just outside London were unable to move this turn. On the random events they rolled, I think it was water the horses, but it basically meant that they couldn't move. So the armies of the Parliamentarians did suffer a defeat, but again they were luckily able to withdraw from the battle towards the end without suffering any further casualties, so their armies are still intact. But overall, it's a turn which really went in favour of the Royalists again. So at the end of the turn, here's the sort of strengths of the different forces for the Royalist armies. They have regained cohesion. They also spent their campaign points to boost their numbers back up. And as you can see, there is now the island armies forces which are now available for the Royalists, and we'll come back to that in a moment. So for our Parliamentarians, we pretty well spent all of our campaign points this turn on just resupplying our army units, and that's why the armies don't look too badly depleted. There's a few units still down, but overall they're in reasonable shape overall. Whilst the Royalists, on the other hand, mixed theirs. Some of their points they spent on resupplying their armies, and others they used to destabilise or capture enemy territory. So as for our only pitched battle, the Battle of Cambridge, it was a Royalist victory, although as I said, the Parliamentarian forces did withdraw in good order. If you haven't already, go and check out that battle report. It was a fun one, very hard fought, with a few interesting moments, that's for sure. But definitely a lot of fun. And these random events, they definitely do seem to affect the battles in ways that even I hadn't expected when I put them down in the first place. So I'm happy that the rules are actually working the way I envisioned them to work, but I didn't expect them to. Kind of doesn't make sense, but hopefully you get my point of view, or my gist I should say. It was definitely, as I said, definitely a fun game, and a hard one, a very hard one. And in the West Midlands, obviously I said already that Waller's forces got to Gloucester, and the king has pursued, so he has besieged the city, but during this turn there was no actual gaming battle, so that's why we don't have another battle report this week. If you haven't already, guys, do like, subscribe, and take part in the campaign. Yeah, everyone is. So the first of our options this week for you guys to vote on, there'll be 3 polls, is where do the Irish reinforcements go for the Royalists? Do they strike down to Bristol/Cardiff to reinforce King Charles where he is? Do they head into North Wales, and that way they'll be appropriately located to strike north if the Scots come in, or they can march south? Do they go to Liverpool? So same sort of situation, defending the north / being able to go south. Or option number 4, do we send them straight up to Carlisle, right on the border, just so they're prepared if the Scots come through, because next turn historically is when they would have entered, the Covenanters. There's no guarantee they will, but we've got to be prepared just in case. For the parliamentarians, due to their sort of situation, we have one option where we can again attempt to have all of our armies unite and fight back the Royalists. Fairfax can march from London to try and relieve Gloucester, whilst the other two armies re-engage in Cambridge. Option 3 would be for for both Fairfax and the Cromwell-Essex armies to unite and go over to Gloucester. And the final option would be for one of the armies, maybe Cromwell, to go to Gloucester's relief, whilst Fairfax and Essex try to clear the eastern counties. Hard decisions, that's for sure. And now the options for the Royalists. We've got one where our Royalist army of, well, we'll just call it the combined Royalist army of the East goes straight down for London. Option 2 would be for that same army group to just carry on pursuing the two smaller Essex and Cromwell armies to try and destroy them. Option 3 would be for the two armies to try and just carry on taking territory in the east and try and break down the parliamentarians' supply chain, basically. Or option 4 is to do a mix, one of the armies to split slightly, so that we've got one smaller, one larger, the larger to go on the offensive against the enemy armies, whilst the smaller goes after territories. So, at least they're the best options that I could come up with. If you can think of something better, leave it in the comments. But that's what I think probably would be the best options for both sides this turn. So, yeah, polls will be open as soon as this video is uploaded. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing what you guys want to be done next. Anyway, thanks everyone for taking part, and I'll see you next time.